What's up, YouTube Nation? Suhrdek here, back with the second part of the Mass Effect 2 video series. I realized my last video was all over the place and wasn't really to the point where I wanted to be. So I'm going to be on point this time, I swear. And we're going to talk about the things I liked about Mass Effect 2. Maybe some of the things I didn't like, but that's actually kind of already been touched on. More of the others parts that just seem repetitive, I guess. But they're necessary things that happen, and you know, just the story forces you into doing those things. Maybe not force you into doing those things, but you know, obviously, if you want to have a like I said, a complete story experience, you kind of have to do those things. Like I said, you don't have to, and just see how things go for you. Let's see, I talked about the gun clips in a little bit in the last video. I mean, that's not something I'm going to talk about again. I talked about Paragon and Renegade decisions, how they are definitely more important, and something that's really awesome that they added into conversations or kind of like mini cutscenes is you have kind of just kind of split second or like instant decisions to have a Renegade or a Paragon action, which I think is really cool. I guess I already touched on this. Game feels like a complete game from playing Mass Effect 1. You kind of realize that immediately. Everything is tighter. I talked about the flow in my Mass Effect 1 video and how the game kind of is. It kind of lulls you to sleep a little bit sometimes, and so you're kind of more prone to want to just hurry up and get the game over with in the story. In this one, like I said, I put in pretty much a full day, and that was including doing a lot of the story and most of the side missions. I didn't do all of them, but I'm working on those actually right now because they allow you to, once you finish the story, to continue on. That's if you live. Ooh. Anyways, moving on. If you notice from the last video and probably in this one, there's health regen now instead of having to heal yourself with Omni Gel, which again is nice. As you see with this part of the video, there's different hacking, I guess. They call it this bypass, but there's no more going up to crates and hacking them and doing that, you know, X, B, Y, you know, instant button mash to constantly open up things. They've changed things up a little bit, which again I definitely approve. There's different weapon upgrades. I have that written down, but I'm trying to think here. Let me think. Like, yeah, like you go to different worlds. I guess this should go on my other point. There's a lot more worlds you go on, and a lot more enemies, and with those, you can basically. I think I die actually in this scene, which is kind of pathetic. But like, yeah, you go in different worlds, and you actually find different technologies, which lead to different weapon upgrades, which again is pretty awesome because you know the weapons you can get are very beneficial and can get you out of some really tough spots, and if you don't do those things, you know, the game, I guess, punishes you in a way, which is awesome. Leveling up is a lot harder. It's not as easy as in the previous game. You definitely get more XP by doing bigger missions, but there's also side missions that you can get a little bit of experience, but then again, not as easy, I guess, to say. There's also, I click power upgrades. And that's actually been done a little bit different as well. It's not, you don't have like a bazillion powers to your repertoire anymore. You, as you can see in my power wheel, I have the 2 mainly. Well, I guess the 3, there's Unity, which I don't really use a lot on this difficulty. But it seems like it'd be something I'd use, you know, once I bump this up and play through it again. Yeah, the power upgrade's a little bit different. I don't think I ever show you in this scene, but it's something you find out early on, and it's actually kind of neat the way you can do it and set it up. And there's also, my next point would be there's sprint. And oh, here's another, wow, see, all over the place. And here's another example of another little cool hacking experience that they've added. Yeah, but to go back to my next point, there's sprint, which is not just in combat, but in general. So you don't have to just waltz around. And that was really kind of annoying. And I'm a man of detail, and that was one thing that just drove me bananas in Mass Effect 1. Let's see. Talked about the cover system. The weapons loadout, you actually get to choose the weapons you take before mission. You really can't change those out, which makes the gameplay more tactical. You go into certain worlds and face certain kind of enemies that can only be taken out by certain kind of weapons, and so you definitely have to choose wisely and anticipate, which is, again, very very awesome. And if you notice in this clip right here, there's, you know, new weapons like rocket launchers, which, you know, the enemy is equipped with, and eventually, you know, you go through, you research, pick up, and you can have one yourself. And there's more heavy weapons, as they call them, and I think there's 5 of those. And, you know, it kind of goes along with the it goes along with achievements. You get achievements for using, you know, weapons you come across, certain weapons you come across. And actually, now that I'm watching this clip, I have one point to bring up. That what's frustrating about the cover system is that it's the same button as sprint. It's A, and I don't think I had it in this video, but sometimes I want to sprint and get behind cover, and especially when you get behind a piece of the wall that's like a half wall, and when you're sprinting up to it, you know, you sprint, you slide, you get behind it, which is cool. But, you know, if you're spamming it sometimes like me, and you're hitting A, you'll then jump over the wall when you're not really wanting to, and then you die. That happened to me a little bit. I mean, I didn't die an awful lot, but that was one thing I would say that was kind of irritating. A couple more things to bring up. There's no Mako anymore, which is awesome. Like I said, it keeps the flow going when you're not getting that stupid craft and drive around. And right here, you're going to watch me use one of the heavy weapons. It's a pretty awesome one. Like I said, it's effective on these enemies, but it's not something that you always should go into each situation using, which is awesome. And one more thing I'm going to talk about that I really like, as you can see, my charge is mapped with LB. You can charge or use your powers and map them to different buttons, which again, you don't have to always pull up your power wheel. Like this gameplay was early on in the game, so I didn't have a chance to map out my powers of myself or even my group that's with me. But I guess closing comment on Mass Effect 2, great game, really enjoy it, and I am really looking forward to Mass Effect 3. And if you haven't played these games yet, I would strongly recommend get through Mass Effect 1 and get to Mass Effect 2, and you'll get more of what I'm talking about. It's a absolute great game. And anyways, stay tuned for more videos coming up in the series, and thanks for watching. Peace.